The first thing I'm going to do is a journal entry, which is pretty straightforward. Most of us have to do a journal entry sometime during the day or the month. Maybe it's at month end we're doing some journal entries. And again, I've got my screen in Dynamics GP that I could go and do a journal entry. I've actually put a journal entry in here already. I'm going to scroll to that and go through something that I did a very simple entry, and then I've got another really simple entry here, and we're going to go and do a new entry here. So I've got a few journal entries in this batch GP webinar, and I can go through the fields, and I put my reference in here. And again, I'm going to go down here to my accounts, and I know that I'm doing a lot of work right now in our travel expenses, trying to catch up from last year. So I'm going to go ahead and put a transaction amount in here. And I know I want this to go to accrued because I'm accruing for something that's going to be coming up. So I'm going to go to my accrued expenses. There we go. A very simple entry. And again, if I wanted to put that distribution reference in there, I could do that as well. So again, I've got something really simple here, and I can go ahead and say save. Another way to get a journal entry in is to do copy and paste. So I've got my template here, and I'm going to simply go and copy that and go back into my journal entry here and say paste. Yay, it worked. For those of you who have tried it before and it doesn't work, it's really kind of handy because it has a document that prints out, lets you know where your errors are, if I could speak. See, I'm so nervous doing this. Here we go. So we've got our couple of journal entries, Rico, that I've done. So I will hand it back over to you to show how we would do that in Business Central.
And now you see Business Central. If you have seen our other demonstration that we did for the last couple of weeks, we were doing this all in Business Central in the business owner mode. Now today I changed myself to be in the accountant mode, so you can see the view here is a little bit different than before, but in general it's the same thing. But I don't want to go over this again. What I want to do today now is to go and enter a journal, just like Tracy did, and to give you an idea what it could look like on the Business Central side of things. So first of all, I want to start with something that looks pretty familiar with you. This is the journal in the shortened version. So I think it looks pretty familiar to what you just saw. Like you have a batch name, you have a document number, you have your posting date specified, and then in the lines you would see the actual accounts. You would see the account name. You can override the description here. So let's say it is a cash, like a transfer, and you can store the information here. So it is your description, you have your debits and your credits, and if there were dimensions applied, all that kind of good stuff would also come over here. And if I would go to the next document, all I need to do is go to the next document number, and it would show me the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And if I would enter a new one, I would simply click new document number. It would create a new document for me. So I got like the next number from the sequence. It's auto-generated, and I can start again entering wages. So I just type in what account I want to use. So I want to use the wages account, and I want to enter a $300 debit. And I can override the description if I want to. Let's say it's December 2020. And then I would go to the next line. And a similar thing that you saw in GP is that it would already populate like the credit amount to make sure that the total balance is already like it would balance in the end, but you don't need to accept this amount. So let's say I have another one where it's for salaries. So I want to enter the number manually because I know the number, so I can type it in right now. So it's salaries, December 2020, just because I want it that way, and I just make it $500 in the debit, and the credit will disappear. And now, of course, if I go to the next line, it will add the numbers together, and now I can put them in my accrual account.
Rico, I really liked that, how when you went to account number, you could type in the name, you could type in anything and it came up. That was really cool.
Yeah, that is why I put it in here, because that's one of the key features. You don't need to know the account numbers and you need to scroll through lists. All you need to do is basically start typing and it will shrink the list. Like as soon as I go in there or remove things, it will make it larger or bigger depending on my filter. I think that's one of the great features. Thanks for pointing this out again. For me, it's so natural. Okay, so this is one way of entering a journal. Why can't, like when I say this is one way, there must be another one. So let me go to another journal. Let me go to Rico's batch because I prepared another one. And let me change my view to a more column view. And for those of you who have been attending my other presentation, you kind of know this already, where in like the opposite, like the difference between the one view and this one is I don't have a header now. So I can have many documents all in the same view. And I can have also the balance account sitting in one line. So I don't need to break it down into multiple lines. So what I can do from here, and I prepared something similar to Tracy, is I can actually copy and paste. Of course, I could enter it manually as well, but I can copy and paste from Excel to here. And it's just a Control V, like the normal stuff that you would do on Excel, Word, or wherever. And you would now have different invoices with different document numbers. A GL account is in here, so this is my revenue account. I have the amount copied over and I have my customer associated to that. And for those of you who know about the concept of dimensions or segments as they are in GP, I can also copy in the segments here. So that's all doable. And now I could continue. If it was a currency thing, I could also update the currency and it would do all the calculation in the background. And if I feel I want to modify what I have in here, I can still do that. So even if I have already entered all these lines in here and I want to modify them all in once, instead of doing it like line by line by line, I can export this again to Excel, edit in Excel, and it would open this very batch in Excel for me. Give me a second here. So it's downloading the file. So now, since it's all Microsoft Office 365 connected, it will open the file. I will hit Enable Editing. And now it will connect with my credentials to Business Central to make sure that I am who I am and I'm allowed to do that. It's verifying my authentication. And now it's connecting the data. And in a second, I will see all the lines from a journal. And this function doesn't matter if you're talking about 5 lines or 5,000 lines. The amount, like the time itself, will be the same thing. So what I can do now is I could go to my, like all the fields that I have in here, I could populate all these fields. All I want to do right now is -200 and then make this just sequence or whatever you have, right? So it could be anything. And all I need to do now is to publish this back to Business Central. Writing data, publish successful. And now I can close my Excel. Yes, whatever. You can save it or not save it. Doesn't really matter. So if I would refresh this page here with F5, we would have all the numbers in here. So it's as easy as that to even modify an existing journal in Business Central. And that was my first piece of how to enter a journal in Business Central. So back over to you, Tracy.
Well, that makes accounting really exciting. That looked like a lot of fun.